I dissociated there for like a solid 10 minutes.
You're fucking stupid, bro.
It snapped, and then I came back
It's
to it.
fucking
I was
Rachie. I can't with you.
Well.
So I'm trying to understand your question. Are phenotypes or feelings more important? Are
Okay, all right. So it plays into the obviously the first question is supposed to kind of point out some. Hang on, my ADHD is running rampant right now, Chieftain. So the first question is supposed to kind of point out a little bit of hypocrisy. So when people talk about gender, man or woman, it's about a feeling. So they feel like they were born in the wrong body. They feel like they are a man, or they feel like they're a woman. But when people talk about blackness, everything is based on phenotypes. So if someone can be half black, half white, depending on their phenotypes. What they phenotypically pass as is what quote unquote society sees them as. So the hypocrisy of the question is there's really no scientific. The whole gender thing is about a feeling. You know, the non-binaries and the trans. But someone can, like me, like my great grandfather on my dad's side, he was black, and so I can literally prove that I do have black in me. But there's really no proof.
I bet your boyfriend says that too.
Did you say filling?
Oh my God!
When I listen to Tupac,
you guys are dirty this morning.
Rachie, did you just say filling?
Filling, yeah.
What kind of filling?
No, like based on feelings. So
not feeling.
Jelly.
They can say.
I was about to say, you're saying filling.
Feeling.
That's why I was asking.
She is
based on feeling. Based on feeling.
She's got that vanilla pudding feeling. She's got the vanilla pudding feeling.
Not fillings, feelings. Got it.
But Lynn, she's got the vanilla pudding.
But then that's why the second question is kind of just being like a little bit of a smart ass saying, are phenotypes or feelings more important? Because whenever it comes to like me saying, like, if a man can be a woman, can I be black? If I feel like I'm a black person, then why can't I identify as that? People say like, oh, you're crazy. That's just like, that's ludicrous to even think about. But what's so ludicrous about someone feeling like they are a different race when someone can say that they feel like they are a different gender?
Why do you keep saying filling?
No, it's her accent. It's
my accent.
It's her accent. It sounds like feeling, but it's feeling.
Feeling.
I mean, it's the same thing whenever people say axe instead of ask.
No, it's not. It's not even close.
That's a vernacular thing.
I know. I'm just fucking with Joe.
I thought they were pronounced the exact same way. I'm feeling sick.
You know what it all boils down to, right?
What?
First world problems.
Exactly.
If everyone had to hunt for their food and build a fire not to freeze to death and build their home, nobody would be thinking about all this non-binary.
Why would they want to build their home when they can 3D print that shit for like 11 grand?
Yes.
Man, look, and not everybody owns a 3D printer, so I identify as the motherfucker that's going to be building my home out of sticks. Thank you.
So that's what people have gotten so bored. That's the first world problem thing, where I'm an opposite gender. I'm no gender. I change my gender every 5 seconds. It's just first world problems.
This is literally like social media, especially TikTok, is having like a huge impact on shit right now. My dad represents over 120 school districts in Kentucky, and he told me last year that there was an increase of not even an increase. He just said an increase of over 4,000% of middle school students in the state of Kentucky were now wanting to identify as non-binary. This literally since COVID. So tell me that, and this is middle school kids.
No, that's being pushed on them. When it comes to kids that young, it's because they're brainwashed into it.
Nationwide trans youth
And that would be ages 9 to 17.
Dude, what the
It
fuck?
has skyrocketed by 70% since 2020.
Insane.
I honestly feel that, you know, parents have a lot to do with this shit.
Yep.
Because there are some parents out there who, since all this trans shit started, all of a sudden got the most severe case of Munchausen by proxy syndrome, to where they feel that they should have had a son, but instead they had a daughter, so they're gonna raise their daughter like a fucking boy, and vice versa.
Isn't that the whole point of being like a tomboy? Like, instead of like trying
Right.
to
No, well,
That was when me and my dad were having this
Wait a
whole
minute,
conversation. He was the reason why we were talking. Well, he brought it up because he was like, because I was the biggest tomboy when I was growing up, like to the point to where I wanted to like shave my head, and I wanted, like, I remember asking my parents if I could change my name to Crystal so I could go by Chris. Like, and then I'd be like, I'm a boy, but I'm not actually. I'm not actually. I mean, I obviously didn't want to be a boy, but I was just a tomboy.
I mean,
my dad was talking about how now,
too.
like, he was like, I'm just glad that we went through that back in the 90s when we did, because today he was saying, you know, like, parents today are almost scared to step up and say anything for fear of the backlash on from like social media and all that shit, of getting shamed, and then CPS stepping in because it's like some type of
in
abuse.
certain states, in certain states, CPS steps in. If you don't allow your child to transition, they will step in and take your kids. But my thing is this: being a tomboy, that's one thing. I want to say a majority of females go through a tomboy stage at least once in their fucking adolescent life. You know, but there's a point where you grow out of it. But these parents are forcing their children to, you know, be the opposite gender because they have a fucking issue. The parents themselves have a psychological issue, and therefore they're forcing that same psychological issue onto their children. Yep. And it's fucking sad. Like, me being part of the Legitibiticua community, I
Can you please say that again?
the Legitibiticua community. Me being part of, you know, the overall community itself, I am not for this fuck shit. Like, I grew up in an era.
Did you just turn it French? Quoi?
The Legitibiticua, yes.
Quoi? You turned it French.
I should did the Legitibiticua. The Legitibiticua community. You know, I grew up. I was born like right beginning of the 80s, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s. You know, and it's like back then. Was it okay to be gay? Not particularly, but, you know, it is what it is. There was none of this shit going on. None of this fucking parents forcing their children and all this. You didn't hear about any of this shit because it wasn't really happening.
You can look this up, too. There was, my dad, like last year during the same conversation, Dad had told me that there were in two different districts, there were parents that came to the school to try to put some kind of, or do like a discrimination lawsuit against the school district because their kids identified as furries and wanted to bring litter boxes into the school. And you think it sounds crazy, but it's happening everywhere.
That's not a mental illness.
No, not at all.
I just feel like parents.
Furry. Okay, the furry community is there. There is a community. They are called the furries. It's a furry community. It's a whole ass community. It's not because they're trans either, or they identify whatever. No, that is something that they do in
Devo, yes,
time.
they did. Can't stand this Devo
There's an extreme of the furry community that does actually identify as that animal and actually lives and goes as that animal.
They live in full uniform.
Yes, and they pay a lot of money to do so.
A very small portion, though. Then,
but that doesn't matter, though. It's still something that happens. You can't deny the fact that it's there, even if it's a small portion of being there.
I've never heard of it, which is why I said what I said, because I have friends in the furry community that, you know, they do all this shit on the weekends or whatever. But I never heard of people actually living as a furry 24/7, which is why you just kind of like blew my mind right now. So, okay. then I take my statement back, because I was not aware that there are people that do this 24/7 and live as this. But like I said, this was back in the day when I knew about all this shit, and not recently. So
Parents have stopped parenting and they're allowing social media to dictate how they raise their children.
For informational purposes only.
Well, we all could have seen this going whenever, well, first of all, whenever Facebook became public for everybody could join. And then when Instagram and Twitter started to get big, everything is literally just for social media, like that quote for the gram.
Do you guys
Devo, whatever your name is, obviously, so Kentucky has the anti-trans bill, so obviously that never the lawsuit never happened because there's not a discrimination that could have happened. So, and number one, I'm not going to tell what school district that happened whenever my dad is the attorney. So stop asking questions. All you have to do is do a simple Google search, and it will show where there's school districts around America and actually globally where this shit is happening.
a gentleman in the comic section made a valid point, Dano. He said that there are people that marry objects, and there really are people like, remember that lady that married a whole ass roller coaster?
Okay, so I can answer that question. So let me ask you a question to answer this.
Okay.
If an object, you are not actually affecting another human being doing so because the object is inanimate. But if you marry some or influence somebody else in that regards, then it becomes an issue with more than one person.
Okay, so then these TV shows that come out showing people
my strange obsession or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. There's some of them have that, disorder to where they have to eat like certain things. One lady ate toilet paper, another person ate pennies, somebody ate rocks. This lady some dude marrying a car, this other lady marrying a roller coaster, and a whole bunch of other crap shit. Now, do you think?
Oh my God, I saw that. She was literally in front of like kids, families, everybody in line.
Right.
Literally, she straddled one of the parts of like the bars and was sitting there humping it, saying she was making love to it.
So, do you think that these shows like this should be made to show the world, especially we're in such an age at this point that everybody is so impressionable and, for lack of a better word, gullible?
No, I don't think that they should be made. I don't even think it should be mainstreamed for that matter. It doesn't make sense to have a show that shows somebody being indecent and usually would end up, that person doing that would have gotten arrested for indecent exposure and being, I forgot what the other actual charge is, but indecent exposure for roller coaster doesn't make sense.
Hey guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I just think.
Hi.
Hey, Victoria.
Hi.
I just think this is
Oh, sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
you're good, Mama.
King.
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say that I remember there was if I'm not mistaken, there was a lady that was married to a fans, and then she got divorced from the fans or something like that. But
oh my God, I remember that. I remember that episode too.
Yes. So I am me personally, I am a trans person. I am a trans woman. Of course, in the United States, I have my fiance, and I feel like at the end of the day, as long as it's two adults that are aware of what they're doing, I don't think it should matter to anyone. And the other thing too is that I feel that what has happened over the years is that the LGBT community has become kind of a joke in a way because there is like this for example, like me personally, I am not a person that supports pride simply because I feel like it has lost the way of things, because nowadays it's kind of like the furries or the people that are into S&M.
The BDSM stuff.
Yes, and I'm like, do they realize that there is a lot of like gay couples, and also people that are part of the LGBT community that have children, they are bringing them here to have a good time because, you know, they are part of the community, but those people are ruining it because they're making it, sexualizing it. Do you
Yeah,
understand what
that's
I'm
what I was
saying?
gonna say. They're
Yeah.
sexualizing it, where it's
It's
not
truly
about
just
it. But you know, there's also too. I mean, there's like there's hetero people and couples like that enjoy going to that, but children don't have a place there anymore because everything is literally. I mean, it's sexualized now.
Yes, and that's my issue with it because for me, it's like I tried to take my nephew, because my nephew was visiting me, and like the day before, so I was on my Instagram, and then someone posted it, because I live in Charlotte, and
Uh
we do
huh.
have Pride here, and then someone posted it, this like older gentleman in like a little tiny thong, and I was
Ugh.
like, yeah, I don't think
yeah.
I want to take my nephew into it because I was like, no, it's not the things that I want my nephew to see, you
Mm-mm.
know, because it's like I'm tired of certain people trying to put everything that it's weird or is uncommon under the LGBT umbrella. I'm like, no.
I
I'm
feel
like,
like this new, like right now, what's going on, I feel like it makes me sad for the people that have been and are just literally trying to exist and live as, you know, LGBT, and the people now, I call it like trendy trans. Got the people that are just doing it because it right now it's trendy, and
No,
um,
those are called transgenders.
No.
transgenders. Ah, I love that
Yeah.
hashtag.
There's
Well,
But
transgender
you
and
know,
then there's
I've got a
transgender.
lot of gay friends and lesbian friends that are saying that they don't even want to associate with the community because now, if you're gay or you're lesbian, now all of a sudden you're transphobic or you're homophobic because you wouldn't date a trans person, and it's
yep.
almost. I mean, it takes away from, you know, gay people what they fought for to be able to get married, and so now
But,
they're being berated and downed
but
because it's like a gay man can't just say that he's strictly dickly now.
right. And see, what's
yeah.
fucking crazy is that I see, you know, as someone who is fucking gay, there's, you know, I stopped going to
What?
Pride.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, I know, right? Uh, shut up, Rachie. Um, you know, I stopped going to Pride years ago. You know, because I'm from New York City, so going to Pride in New York City is a huge fucking thing. We are talking like a million motherfucking people show up. And over the course of years of going to Pride, I saw the actual progression or lack thereof in the fucking community. And it's just like seeing people having smecks on the side of the fucking on the sidewalk, in front of stores, in front of children. You go down to the pier, you got females walking around topless, men with their fucking Vienna sausages hanging out, and then next thing you know, there's gunfire. The Pride Parade has been shot up more times than I can count.
It don't make sense, honestly.
It
I
doesn't.
I don't
Hold on, I gotta
agree.
back out. My audio's not working.
Okay.
But
I don't agree with
yeah,
the sexual activities, especially if you're doing a peaceful like parade or anything. Because I mean, back in the day, a kid could actually enjoy a pride parade. I mean, drag queens were respected, and they looked like, hey, they're great in makeup. Like right now, I'm gonna say RuPaul. I have no issues with RuPaul whatsoever. I know RuPaul is not like one to put out there, but I mean, he's presentable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's one of those old school, I guess, drag queens. He's one of those old
Hmm.
school drag queens, right?
Yeah.
So old school drag queens are like the absolute best drag queens in the fucking world. I fucking love them. Just like I have friends who are old school trans friends who act more like Victoria than you know,
Mm-hmm.
they act like normal human beings. They're not out here like, oh my god,
Victor.
I'm a whole ass woman, but yet you got a full ass fucking beard. Say what?
Well,
It's Victor.
What'd
you
you say?
also have trans
Did I say
women that
something wrong,
don't look
Victoria?
that look
Sorry.
like straight dude and then say I'm female.
That part.
I was raised to believe that pride's a sin.
Well, that's a religious thing.
That is like a religious
No, I'm
thing,
just
Someone
saying
but
said
it is
Victor
true.
Yeah.
or what? I'm confused.
That's one of the deadly sins.
Okay, we can talk about the deadly sins later because that shit right there is a friggin' mystery to me. But you know, anyways.
Hey, King.
I don't know.
Real
I've
quick,
just always
let me
believed
touch
that
base with you real quick.
pride
I
can
will tell
be.
you
Hold on.
this.
Who's
I'm sorry.
talking right now? Oh, Mike.
That was Mike.
Who's got
Mike, you sound so far away, bro.
Hold
who's got
on. Let me fix this. Hold
oh.
on. Is that better? Is that
I
any
don't know.
better?
Was your phone just going off?
Not mine.
Oh no, Victoria. Somebody was saying something earlier, saying like they're acting like Victoria, and then I said, not like Victor or something like that. I wasn't calling you Victor.
Yeah, because that's not my name. She chose that because I used to watch the show Revenge.
I'll be honest. I zoned out for a second, and then I came back in. I'm ADHD as fuck, and I don't even remember what that was in relation to. Someone, I think it was Stitch.
Well,
That was like, "Oh my god, I'm a whole ass woman,"
yeah.
and it said something about not acting like Victoria, and I was like, "Yeah, not like Victor." I didn't mean that towards you, and I
Oh,
apologize.
okay. No, you're fine. No, but I do agree with what you were saying. Rachipu?
Rachy Poo. My name's Rachel, but
Rachipu.
and I've always been called
Rachel.
Rachy Poo. Yeah.
I do agree with you. I feel like that's the thing that I have seen a lot, that there is a thing in the trans community that is kind of like, oh, if you don't date me, then you're transphobic or something like that. I'm like, it's not that person being transphobic. It's called preference. Everybody has their preference, and
Right.
it's totally fine. And for me, it's kind of disgusting because it's kind of like those people a lot of the times are doing it for views, and
Mhm.
it kind of like is bringing a bad rep to the trans community, which is already like over here already getting so much hate from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the thing too is this is that a lot of the people that are over here so outspoken about the trans community, it's actually like usually is the older people that started later on, and they're the
Mhm.
ones that are over here like talking for the trans girls that they started when they were like 17. They started and they have lived their life for like so many years like that, and we're not going out there, and we're, to be honest, like for example the cis word, that is something that I do not use in my everyday language. I am not like, no, I'm like, it's insane to me how other people worry so much about me when I don't even worry about anyone else. It's like, I
Right.
don't
See,
know, this world's so crazy, girl.
most of these
You know
people
what's
live by
crazy
their
though, guys,
lingo.
is that people talk all the time about how this is just the internet and this is just TikTok, like this is stuff that's only. When I tell you, this was probably like 2 or so months ago. I was in line at the gas station, and these two young girls behind me, they were saying, "Yeah, that YT girl," and I was like, "Oh no."
Well,
Oh
that's the
God, no,
thing.
not YT. But then I've also too, like now I've started to hear it, just being like, I don't like just being in conversation or being out places, just kind of overhearing people saying stuff. And I think it's from where, think of how many people are on TikTok, and now it's overflowing. Like the TikTok language is starting to overflow.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand is that TikTok is a public place.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
So if it's a public place, then it's not something that's not going to overflow to society outside of it. It is somewhere where everybody has access. So I don't understand why people would even think that, oh, what you do on TikTok doesn't matter.
Right.
So when it comes down to trans individuals, and Victoria, by all means, this has nothing to do with you specifically, but trans individuals, the reason why I even have an issue is that big old umbrella that's been put over them. Because you can be trans and be absolutely anything. So there's no definition anymore. And then when they go and say, I've heard trans women, because again, I can't say they're not a trans woman, say, I don't want the trans identifier anymore. So now they want to go to specifically just a woman identifier, but they don't want to work towards being a woman, or they say they don't have the money to work towards being a woman or looking like a woman, but I'm supposed to accept them as a woman.
I agree with you.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you guys off.
Sorry. I agree with you 100%.
It's been a pleasure, Rachie. I gotta go.
Have a great day,
Okay.
GP.
Later, guys.
Bye, GP.
Oh, all right. Message me on Discord.
I shall.
I agree with you 100% on that, because to me, it's kind of like the thing is that a lot of the trans women that, have transitioned and stuff like that, and like a lot of the times it's like you wouldn't even know that they're in the bathroom, like that when you go and stuff like that, or in like the spaces and stuff like that, you wouldn't even know. But for me, I do have an issue with like those people nowadays that are like, oh my God, yeah, I can still dress as a boy and stuff like that and go into the women's bathroom. I have an issue with that, because for me, this is like society has put certain like standards or certain things on how a woman presents themselves, and the thing is, this is like, even for myself, I would be kind of like, I would not be okay with having like a full male, like over here in the women's bathroom, like with a whole like beer, and like over here just saying, just because they're wearing a colorful sweater, and then that automatically makes them, be part of that. I'm like, you are,
Or some blush and some mascara.
Yeah, it's like the thing is, this is like and a lot of times too is like, I'm like me coming out, like me going out is kind of like literally, I don't know how to say this, by the way. English is not my first language, but what I'm trying to say is that it infuriates me, because it's kind of like a joke. It's kind of like,
well, I think it makes a mockery of your experience, and
Yes.
the people that have actually like people like you that legitimately struggled and went through the whole I'm sorry, my ADHD is kicking in right now. I don't know the like, no, just like the whole like process and everything that you went through of like transitioning and coming out. I feel like people like you are just being, it's like a slap in the face.
It is, because the thing is, this is like, those are the people that literally are not living as a trans woman 24/7. They are over here like just when it's convenient to them, or whenever they want to, or when
The Adorna. Do you know who, Victoria? Do you know Adorna on here?
Rachel, you called names out? Oh my God.
Yeah, you know me. No, it's Adorna. It's a trans woman on here, but I have a problem calling Adorna she or a woman, because that person is so hateful in the rhetoric, and I feel like it is one of the reasons why people have such a bad taste and are so getting so.
It's people like who you just said that make it bad, make it horrible for the other people.
They do, because it's like, the thing is, this is that it's kind of like, okay, today I feel like this, and so today I'm gonna go into the women's bathroom, and then the next day is like, oh, okay, I feel like a man, so I'm gonna go into the men's bath. To me, it's kind of like, it's a mockery. It's like, it's insane, and it's very insulting, because it's like I know damn well that if like the old trans women, the ones that went through the whole, with the AIDS and all that stuff, the girls that were over here fighting and stuff like that, I know damn well if they were to see those people, they would literally read them from head to toe and tell them like what is going on with you. You're literally making a joke out of us
Well,
because
Victoria, it's
yeah.
profitable now. It's
Oh, it
profitable
is.
right now. It's capitalism.
I have a question.
If
So, and this is just completely my own thoughts and why I struggle with the whole trans thing. In my 50 years on this planet, never once have I ever woke up and said, I feel like a woman. I just
That's no. See, that's not it. Okay, so I'm gonna divulge a very big
wait,
secret.
I'm just saying, I just am. It's just something I've always known. And if somebody asks me, well, what does it feel like to be a woman? Well, I know what it feels like to be me, but I have no idea what Rachie feels like to be her. So how can you possibly say you feel like something when you've
I
never
think
actually been
Okay,
that?
hold on a second.
I'm just, and
explain
this is me
something to
just
you.
curiosity.
Okay,
I
so
think,
let
I
me
mean,
explain.
I can
Rachie, hold
literally,
on.
like, I
Rachie,
can
hold on.
relate back to when I was little, when I was like, when I tell you I was hardcore tomboy, like, I would tell people I was a boy, like, I would tell my parents, like, I want to be a boy. And that, like I said, I wanted to change my name to Crystal so I could go by Chris.
No, but that's
It's
different
like I
though.
can, but it's like at that time, I can understand where
That's
someone can
different.
feel like they're
So, Rachie, did you
not
feel
what
like
they're
you were?
supposed to be or something, if that makes sense.
Can
Like
I?
Hold on,
it's like
hold
I
on.
could,
I want to say something real quick. I just want to say something real quick. Like, okay, Rachie, for one, did you feel like you were born in the wrong body?
like I was young, but like I remember just being like I had an older brother. He passed away, R.I.P. But I was just always like I don't know. I just wanted to be able to like stand up and pee. Like I wanted to be. I don't know. I wanted to be called a boy.
Okay, so all my life, I'm 44 now. Okay,
Um,
I have struggled. Like, I mean, not so much now because I'm more comfortable. Like, in my 20s, I became more comfortable with the fact that I am a woman. But for the longest, I thought I was born in the wrong fucking body and I should have been a male.
Okay.
So, you wake up in the morning, you just say you don't have to worry about being a female, but when you wake up in the morning feeling like you were born in the wrong fucking body and you should have been a boy, that's different. So,
Well,
go
that's
ahead.
a different extent
no,
because,
I
like,
mean, no,
I went.
Stitch. I was just saying, like, I can see and understand. I'm not saying that, um,
Well, no, it goes
I'm
along
not
with
saying that I know exactly what they're, but it's, I guess, I don't know.
like, see, if I would have known if the shit that is readily available today for people who are trans was readily available back then, who knows? I could have been a trans man. But back then, it was not readily available.
And the thing is this is like so I'm from El Salvador, that's in Central America, and I grew up in a farm, and since I was very young I knew that I grew up, there's no LGBT people around me or anything like that. It was like men and women. So, of course, because by the way, male and female are in my opinion, are the only two genders.
Yes,
Because
thank
a lot of
you.
people would tell me otherwise, and I'm like, well, those are the two genders. But the I kind of like always kind of knew that that was not who I was. I knew that me being a boy and stuff like that was not my thing. And then of course, I came to the United States, and then I always knew. And then when kind of like I figured out who I was and stuff like that, I left my house, and then I I left my house when I was 15, and I had a job, of course, and my own place at that time. And then when I was 16, that's when I got the psychologist and stuff like that, and I was paying it. And that's when I started transitioning, not medically. I did everything on my own. So for me is that a lot of the times the people nowadays, they're self
Identified or whatever.
Self-identifying.
yes, and I have an issue with that
Hmm.
because
It's
a lot of them are doing it for the wrong reasons. They're doing it
yeah.
and they're doing it for the wrong reasons, and then later on they're gonna detransition and be like, yeah, that's not what I was meant to be, and they're gonna make the trans community look bad because they realize that that's not who they wanted to be. And two, the other thing too is that there is a lot of gay boys and stuff like that they see that trans women over here